Chuck.
Hi, what's your favorite emoji?
Say again?
What's your favorite emoji?
We've been pretty public about a band called Kaleo.
I think she said
And we've been lucky enough to make friends with them. So it's funny. It's a weird world Jensen and I live in, where I think their music is amazing. I think their lyrics are amazing. Their guitar, their drums, their singing, and then we got to meet them, and they're people. And hopefully that's how y'all feel with us. I mean, where you're like, oh, I love that show, Supernatural, and then you meet us and go like, oh, they're people. So that's how. But I mean, like, we are people too, right? So when we met the band members of Kaleo, we were like, oh, dude, they're so freaking cool. Like, they're just like normal people.
She said emoji.
Don't say emoji. Kmart, come on.
That's what she asked. What your favorite emoji?
What? Oh. I thought it was an accent. You said emoji?
Emoji, yes. Favorite emoji?
I'll show you. This is my favorite emoji. How do I get to it? I'm sorry, guys. I'm so jet-lagged. I love all y'all.
Code for.
Oh, oops. Here, I'll send it to Jensen. His text message this morning was, you know we have a convention today, because somebody's alarm didn't wake him up.
No, what can't see it?
It's sort of like so my favorite emoji is sort of like a surprised happy face. Because most of my texts are like, hey, I guess I'm awake.
So, and sometimes it felt for me that something was missing, especially after the torture, because there was literally no aftermath. Like, I thought he would have maybe some nightmares, or because he's used to get tortured by demons or monsters, but not from a human being. That should be an ally.
Yes. I lost a few of the words. Will you say it again? Sorry, I'm so tired.
He should.
So a lot of the torture scenes for Sam are from demons?
No, he should have nightmares.
I'm sorry.
I was just wondering if Sam had some feelings, some aftermath after the torture from a human being, because he's not used to that, and it's different.
Got it. Yes.
And
that's a good observation. I think a lot of different things that Sam and Dean both go through. Certain episodes, like the Benders, I think mess with the Winchesters more because it's humans doing it. And I think there's an episode where Dean says, like, monsters, I understand, humans are weird, or humans suck. Sorry. Honestly, look at this. It's the bottom of the mic. I'm sorry. I keep on like, sorry. Lo siento.
I think she's trying.
Come se dice, I'm sorry? Mi dispiace. Che? Mi dispiace. So I do feel like the boys have had to deal with sort of being hurt and disappointing both humans and monsters. And so it's kind of made them better. But, hi.
I really enjoyed your chapter in the Penguin book. So I was wondering, did you enjoy being a writer as the process of writing? And are you planning on writing something else in the future? Because it was really good.
No. Honestly, no. Thank you so much. That was a really difficult. It took me a year to write that. And Lynn, she fixed a few probably spelling errors and grammatical errors, but she really didn't change a lot of it. It was one of those things where I told a friend I would do it, and so I did it. And then as I started doing it, I was nervous and anxious, and it was really hard because I didn't write it all in a day, and so I don't do well with sort of like picking up midway through a scene, so to speak. So like acting, I'd rather if there's a 4-page scene, I'd rather do all 4 pages than go like, hey, there was a plane last page, do the last 3 lines. I'd rather go back to the front and do the whole scene. So with the chapter, every time I wrote it or wrote more, I'd go back and read the beginning or read up to where I'd written, and it was really difficult. I'm really proud, I guess. It's weird because it's all I've never written, right? So it's all me, and it wasn't a phone call. It wasn't dictated. It was me writing, like really going deep, trying to go deep for y'all guys. Yeah. Did you read?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Thank you. It was tough because you're like, okay, here you go. Go ahead and put this in paper form to send to people and let them like. It's the most private I'll ever get.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
So Sam was the original vessel of Lucifer, and I was thinking, do you think that Sam will, because of this, also have a special connection with the Nephilim?
Yes. Yes. Great question, and yes, honestly, I think that's why, for those who haven't seen the finale, I think that's why they made Sam kind of find him, you know. So I do think that Sam is going to be able to maybe appeal to his intellectual side. We don't know a lot about the Nephilim yet, but I do feel like Jack, I guess, will have a connection with Sam.
Yes. I actually don't have a question. I have a story to tell that's just too hilarious to not share.
Thank God.
Yeah. Last year I had a meet and greet with you, and I was asking about your hats. Yes. And the next day after the Jailbreak concert, me and my friends were standing there and we were talking, and I said I had a meet and greet with Jared, and I was asking, and I said, I love your beanies. And one of my friends was just scandalized, and she was like, what? What did you say? I love your penis?
This is a first.
She's not even
This is-
dead for 30 years.
This is. She said what? For 30 years?
See, she's not ashamed of her dirty ears and her dirty mind.
She's not ashamed of her dirty ears and dirty mind.
You know, when you don't wash your ears, you can't hear. I'm sure you always wash your ears. I can use my mom voice to make.
No, I hear you. I'm just sort of laughing. I've never. I've never, in 2 consecutive sentences, heard, I love your penis, make sure you wash your ears.
Other body parts too.
I get it. I don't even know how to respond. I think. My friend says I love your penis. Wash. What would the show be called? Thriller? Horror? Fantasy? Fantasy? Wash your penis. For anybody who's ever wondered what it's like to hang out with Jared when he is awake at 2 a.m. and working, it's this. Yeah, action? Yeah, okay. Yes. Mom. This is it. This is and they're like, cut, yeah, got it. I would love to do sci-fi. I grew up a fan of Star Trek with my dad. We'd watch all original 63 episodes. We beat their ass, 263 or 264. So I would love that.
Morning.
They're magically delicious. I digress. How was Jared this morning? I heard he was awesome. Yeah. This was me this morning. Eating some eggs. Drinking a little coffee. We ready to go? Okay. Where's Jared? No, has not. Oh, nobody's heard from him? Have you knocked on the door? No answer. Interesting. I'll go get him. Door creeps open. What? We have work today. Again? Yeah, 2 days. Now? No, not now. An hour ago. Always the big brother.
If you were one of the hot guys of Magic Mike movie, what would be your signature move?
This may go down as being the greatest question ever asked. My signature move?
Demonstrate it.
Not my signature move. My character's signature move.
Yeah.
His name is Fantastic Fred. And his signature move is a little something like this. But pantless. You don't want to be in the front row for that one, let me tell you. Delete the last 5 to 10 minutes of... Oh, there's so many phones. My mom's gonna see that. This is embarrassing. But it's Magic Mike. Which is also embarrassing. Poor Channing. He's done 2 of them now? Is he working on a 3rd one? Probably. Slut. Hi. I'm just kidding. I love him. I don't know him. He's probably a slut.
I have a question for Dean. We were playing Would You Rather, and we figured this would be probably a hard question for Dean. Would you rather give up your 5 favorite kinds of food or give up 6 forever as Dean? Including pie and hamburgers.
Oh no, Dean could live on salad for fine. That's good. That's cool.
I don't think so.
No, you didn't. You know.
No, we thought he was going to go for the 6.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Oh, yes.
Sex. S-E-X. Let's be clear.
There's already a gif of that now.
Misha thought it was a stupid question, too. So.
I don't think it's a stupid question. If you, yeah, because like, let's see, top 5 favorite foods would be pie. Burgers.
Pizza.
Whiskey.
Thank you.
Tacos. Maybe pizza and beer. And I think he could probably put those aside if he had to, because he's a lover of the ladies. One of the many things we have in common. Thank you.
In the episode regarding Dean, you had to face a new challenge, which was portraying a new version of Dean. So my question is, what were the differences and difficulties between that specific version and the other ones?
That was one of my favorite episodes of the season, simply because it was, and I think I've said this before, so if I'm repeating myself to a few of you, then forgive me, but it gave me a chance to really play. And as somebody that enjoys portraying a character for a living, to, after 12 years of doing so, to be given an opportunity to really kind of stretch different sides or different facets of the character was exciting and fun, and it was. I just remember there was a lot of comedy that I was able to do, which I love. I don't think I'm a comedic actor. I think I just have an affinity towards comedy filtered into drama, and all of that, I was able to do a lot of that in that particular script. But then when it kind of came full circle was when I was when Dean was in the bathroom, and it was with the mirror scene, and then it got to a totally different tone and kind of got real. And I remember it was at the end of the day. Been a long day. We shot all of the stuff that you saw in the motel with Rowena, her touching my nose, all of that, which wasn't scripted because Ruth's just awesome. So yeah. It's so fun working with her because I never know what she's gonna do, and so when she did that, I was just like, well, that caught me off guard. But she's so great because she can catch us off guard, which is hard to do. But anyway, so we shot that entire day. All of that motel stuff was in that same day, and then we moved into the bathroom, and we shot the scene between Dean and Sam, where Sam's like, "It's okay, we're gonna fix this." And then the very last thing we shot, so Jerry gets wrapped, Ruth is wrapped, and they set up a camera right in front of the sink. So there's no mirror, it's just a camera lens, maybe this far from me. And then camera operator
focus puller, boom operator, dolly grip, and then like the whole crew. And I just remember thinking, I was like, okay, just imagine it's a mirror. And thank God I have a good imagination. And I remember telling John Badham, who directed that episode, I remember telling John, I was like, look, it's late, everybody wants to go home, this is the last scene of the day, just keep the cameras rolling. I'm just gonna go through the scene a couple of times. So normally you do the scene and you cut, right? Cut, the bell goes off, everybody breathes a sigh of relief. Okay, we're one take down. Take two, they come in with a marker, they slate it, they roll camera, roll sound, that whole thing. I just was like, listen, we're not rolling film anymore, so just let the camera roll. It's digital. It's ones and zeros, that's all it is. Let the camera roll and let me just do this a couple of times and get myself into this. Let me imagine that the mirror is in front of me and not a camera and an operator and a focus puller and whatever. So John just let me go, and I was really happy with the way. I do remember, because it was one take, but I did the scene like 3 times, and then they yelled cut after I did it 3 times, and I think they used the third rendition, maybe the second rendition, I don't remember, one of them, but they yelled cut, and I was like, nailed it, good night guys. And then that was it. I just walked to my trailer and we were done with the day. But getting it in one take is always kind of a prideful thing, and it also helps production because we can move along quicker. But nailing it in one take, even like the dolly grip, like when they yell cut, I'll just hear nailed it. It's a common saying on our show. It was okay?
It was amazing. So my question is that Dean kind of got his moment with Mary in terms of letting out how he felt, and I think it was much needed throughout the season, so it felt more like a build-up. And at the same time, I feel like that Sam didn't really get to let out any of his anger or frustration maybe throughout the season as much. And maybe the reason why that he wanted to lead rather than be a follower, and the way that Dean kind of said, okay, you can do this because you've got this, was because he needs to let it out. Did you feel that maybe Sam needs to show more emotion, and maybe in terms of anger and frustration? Did you feel that?
Possibly. Yeah, it could have been a little bit more troubling for him. But I think given the context of the storylines and the fact that, Mom was involved with the Production of Letters, and he kind of got roped into being a part of that. Sure, he could have been upset, and everything all right? Is there a fire alarm? Do we need to leave the building?
It's like 8 different noises.
Misha's photo op? So nobody needs to leave then. It's too easy. So I don't know. I think it was fine. I think it was. I mean, look, I'm not going to tell Jared that he played a scene wrong, because I think his choices, in my opinion, he makes right choices. I think he does a pretty good job of portraying Sam. And I would never question his motives for portraying that character. I will, however, give him little, like if I see him doing a scene and I maybe think that could have been, this moment could have been better, or this line could have been highlighted a little bit more, or he was missing a piece of the story a little bit, then I'll say it to him. I'll be like, hey, hit that moment a little bit more. And he'll be like, you're right. And he does the same for me. And I think it's one of the reasons we work so well together is because we literally have each other's backs. And we're looking out for each other. And that's not something that even a director would come up and be like, hey, Jared, listen, I like what you're doing with the character, but if I could just give you a note. Jared would be like, I've been playing this character for 12 years. Shut up. So literally there is only one person that he and I would listen to as far as giving tonal character notes, and that's each other. You brought up something that made me think of a little story, which is so the scene with Mary has a funny backstory. When I read it, and I don't know, some of you maybe have heard this or we've talked about it, but when I read it, I was like, there it is. Meaning, at the end of last season, when Amara looked at Dean and said, I'm going to give you what you need the most. I would have thought it would have been his father. But Jeffrey Dean Morgan's not available. Because he's awesome and he works constantly. So I was like, oh my God, they're going to try to get Jeff back. And then they're like, no, we're going to bring Mom back. And I was like, interesting choice. Okay. And for the entire season, Jensen, had a hard time processing that for Dean. And I think it kind of read that Dean was almost he was unsure about the relationship with Mom. And he didn't know why. And I didn't know why. And it was kind of weird. And I love Samantha to death. I think she is one of the sweetest people on the planet. But as far as from a character standpoint, like there was kind of a friction, or not even a friction. There wasn't it wasn't cohesive, and for me that troubled me because I like to find that connection with another character, and I think that's one of the things that drives the show the way it does is the relationships between the brothers, the relationship between Dean and Cass, the relationships between Crowley, even like all of those relationships have a place and they have some sort of a cohesiveness. And I struggled to find that with Mary, and it bothered me. And I couldn't understand. I was like, why am I having such a difficult time like finding that gel, finding that pocket with my mom, and making sense of what the darkness had said at the end of last season. And when I got the script for 22 and I read that scene, I was like, there it is. That's what Dean needed the most, was to forgive his mother. And so Robert Behrens, who wrote that script, was on set that day because a lot of times at the end of the season, the writers of the scripts will come up and visit the set to watch their episodes get filmed. And it's at the end of the season because they don't have any other scripts to write. Because in the beginning of the season, they're already working on their next script and they got to write it and they got work to do. So Bob Behrens came up and he was sitting behind the monitors, and I remember walking up to him and I was like, hey man, I got to thank you for literally clearing up the entire season for me with in respect to the Dean and Mary relationship. And he's like, how do you mean? I was like, well, where I say that, I forgive you. I hate you, but I love you, and I forgive you. And he was like, what? I was like, what? Don't mess with me. That's tied into the last season. He's like, uh-huh. So I don't know if he was messing with me, but if that was a mistake, that was the happiest accident that I've ever experienced. Because for me, that's what I played. When I had that scene with Samantha, I was playing that. I was playing that this is why you came back. This is why God and the darkness gave you back to me for this catharsis, this cathartic moment. And I don't know, I was very, very happy with that turn in the script, and it was heavy. It was very heavy, and I remember I wasn't going to cry. I literally remember that I was like, all right, don't do tears, because that's obvious. Like that's, and the script called for it. The script was like, and Dean with tears running down his face. And I was like, don't tell me to cry. I hate that. I told Bob that. I told Barons that. I was like, hey, listen, don't put that in there. If it happens, it happens. But don't make me feel bad if it doesn't happen and you wrote it in there. So I remember reading it and I'd be like, nope, that ain't gonna happen. Screw you. And then when we started working and I was started doing the scene and the emotion kind of started flooding me, and then it was real. That was a real moment. And like I felt for Dean because I knew what that meant for him. And so to be able to emote emotions of a character that you care so deeply about, that's pretty special. I'm a lucky guy to be able to do that for 12 years. So thanks.
Gather round, ye lads and lasses, we mind the tale of how we and let's all raise our glasses high to friends and family gone, and lift our voices in another Irish drinking song.
What is that? All right, I gotta drink some apple juice. Hang on.
Me sister has forever closed her smiling Irish eyes. Now everybody's died, so to the
Cheers. Woo! That apple juice is strong. What?
I want to ask what you think about Dean's ability to forgive the people he loves for just about everything, and if you think that this is something you have in common with Dean.
Yeah, no, I don't forgive people. I would say that Dean holds more of a grudge than Jensen would. I tend to let things go because life's too short. Dean has that capability of harboring anger and resentment, which I know a lot of people can identify with, and it's something that I can identify with, which is also a reason why I make an effort to dismiss it. Because again, life is too short. So, I think that, you look at the 12 seasons that we've done, unfolding these characters, peeling back the layers. One of the greatest joys of my life is that I've been able to play a character for this long because it's given me an ability to layer it. And, when you get a script, like a movie, there's a beginning, a middle, and an end. And the greatest thing that I've been given, as far as the show goes, is I haven't seen the end. All right. It's out there somewhere. We just haven't found it yet. But what that's done is that's given the brothers an ability and time to process not only what they're dealing with, which is crazy and supernatural, but also what the hand that they were dealt, what they were given by their parents, which was pretty difficult. And for these two men to, I say men now, we used to say boys. Seriously, I know, we gotta go. For them to go from boys to men.
Motown Philly.
I went to a Boys to Men concert once. Little fun fact for you. To see what they've done with what they were given and what they've been dealt, I think is one of the great triumphs of this show. So, yeah. Thank you. Okay, thank you everybody. Gosh, I love you guys, and I love my apple juice. Good night.